Okay, Frederick. Today we have another topic which is exciting again. As you look at the title of this slide, we're going to look at some packages and tools for storages. Originally, I planned the network together in one module, but this itself is a pretty good exercise already. So I'll push this network to the next modules. Some little bit of network stuff that can do in or by some packages or tools. Then we need to see that also. That's tools very popular in cybersecurity professionals like you guys. Okay, so packages. Each distribution uses different package systems. Where our Raspberry Pi is in this family, Debian style, so ours is in these packages. But there is another group. Most of the corporate subscribe to, that is a Red Hat, because Red Hat is not only the operating systems distributions, but also it has some technical contract, so they support some issues technically if you subscribe to it. But most of the concepts remains the same in both, only a little bit of different. Okay, in the package management, we need to search, install, and then update. And finally, remove if you do not need that packages. You don't need to keep it all the time. Debian styles, before you do, then you need to do apt minus get is old style, so apt upgrade, that works. And then apt dash cache search, and then some of the packages if you want to find, that works as well. So we'll try some of those. As I said, in Debian, like our Raspberry Pi OS, usually you need to update and upgrade your operating systems. Upgrade takes a little longer time. Maybe it depends on the states of your Raspberry Pi OS. If you continue to upgrade and update, then it doesn't take long. But I recommend you to update and upgrade frequently. And then you can install. And then you run. When it comes to the case the package is no longer needed, then you need to remove it. We have some example here. Nmap. I think some of you heard of these packages. This is very useful, powerful. Network scanner. And Nmap is the first tool if you want to intrude some of computing infrastructure. So we'll look at that a little bit here, although we don't do much about. So I'll push the concepts and skill sets about networkings to next modules. The package management wise, we can do we can practice here, right? So let's see if we have Nmap. Probably I have Nmap. Oh, Nmap is not. Okay. Then we need to, before you install, then you need to do sudo update and upgrade, or sudo apt. Right now, 20 packages can be upgraded. Can be upgraded. Therefore, we need to upgrade. If I have only 20 packages to upgrade, then we can do it quick. I think it takes unexpectedly longer now. Okay, so I got that. Now I'm ready to install Nmap. So I can do sudo apt install Nmap. If you do not want to make it user interactive, but if you agree to install all, not only the package itself, but in order to install one package, there may be a few of dependent packages. So if you want to agree all such dependent packages to be installed as well from the beginning, then I think I did that here. Then you need to say here -y. Like I enter y here manually, interactively. So I responded to enter y manually. So all are installed like this. And if you want to practice the Nmap, right now our network has 192.168. That family. So you can start the Nmap 192.168.1.1. It scans through all the networks within that 192.168.1.12, 192.168.255.255. It scans through all. There are lots of the languages that you may be interested in when you run Nmap. That we will take a look at a little bit next week, but that is what it is. There is a 995 close to TCP ports, 5380, 111, 443, 5000s, all in TCP protocols. Those ports are open. Today we'll look at, for example, HTTP is installed. Then I want you to make sure that your port 80 is open. If it is closed, then although we install the web server today, it's not, right? And then there is a secure, the web services also available that is open, which is 443 port numbers. So I believe we can do from there 192. Let's see. My IP is 192.168.7.8. So, for example, if I do Nmap, I do not know which ones that is. 192.168.7.11, for example. Maybe someone's here in this group, but it's not available. We can scan through 192.168.7.255, for example. Yeah, 192.168.7.1 has that. Yeah, someone might have this, right? But anyway, there is an Nmap. If we do not want to this Nmap anymore, then you need to do sudo apt remove Nmap. Then it'll be gone from your operating systems. So I'm not going to remove it. We may need it later, so I'm going to use it. Okay, package listing and status. So we can find out, for example, see the list of the packages already installed. Then you can do dpkg -l. So we can see the long list of those. Those are the packages already installed. So long list. Let's see if we have an Nmap. We just installed. So now we have an Nmap here, right? Press Q to quit. Show specific packages. Remember that we, from the beginning, because I already set it on my dot bash rc. So I have because my okay, I need to click here. So what I want to see here, so neo fetch, that I have that, right? If I want to see if it is there, then dpkg minus L, because this is a long list of the packages installed, but I want to check quick. Then we can see grep, like nmap. We already know the nmap, right? Then I may be able to see that. Similarly, neo fetch, then I see my neo fetch, that package is already installed. If I want to remove, then I can remove. For example, figurelet, and then I can say then it shows me the record, the text, but in different style, right? That is the figurelet. That if I do not want it to run anymore, then we can remove it. dpkg minus s figurelet, and let's see, figurelet installed in optional text. dpkg minus y minus s. I want to see the manual for dpkg, see what is the option. S, the package managers for Debians. Uppercase S means that is for search. Small s. That may not be the case. Then we can do sudo apt remove figurelet. Then definitely it'll go away, right? So my figurelet is gone. So rather than having this, I think you can do sudo apt remove and then figurelet. So use these options. Remove. Maybe this is different versions. This may not work. It's not available. If you want to, this is not for the remove case. If you want to clean up unused dependencies after removing packages, although you remove this nmap, when you install Nmap, there may be sometimes a lot of dependencies, dependent packages also installed. But when this particular package is removed, there may be some packages still remains, not completely away, not the same time as you installed. The remove may not remove all the dependent packages. Therefore, we need to clean up sometimes. Then you can do this. Sudo apt auto remove. Okay, auto remove and -y. Then all the dependent packages will be removed. Okay. This is good if you see as the system administrator some operating systems runs unexpectedly slowly. Then you may remove some unnecessary dependent packages. There may be still remains, and then that may consume your computing power. So in the case, you can remove all of those automatically, so that you can improve the performance of your operating systems. Okay. You don't need to do this frequently, but once in a while, you may need to do. But particularly when you see inefficiencies, or when you see the performance is so low, then you need to do this. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. This is a real exciting project that we will do. LAMP stack that we will install. What it does is that it installed, as you can see, first a web server that we want to install on your Raspberry Pi. Like you see almost all the corporate web servers. But the small universities like Mercy universities do not use this Linux or Unix-based web server. But here in this class, we'll do real mainstream technologies of web server installations. Okay. So we will install Apache. Apache is one of the best web server, of course free, and usually that runs on Linux, Unix, Solaris operating systems, not Microsoft. Microsoft has another version of web server, which is well adapted by the small entities. So you may be able to see Mercy University website is not based on Apache. But if you go to, for example, NYU or Columbia Computer Science, then there is this Apache. Almost all the big. So we'll first do a web server installation. And the next one is database server. Anybody has experienced installing database systems on your? No, not yet, right? So we will do that. I think this is the first time in your life. So we install MySQL. MySQL is you've done? For what purpose?
Oh, I have an SQL class.
Oh, you already take that class?
Yeah.
Okay. On where? Windows or Linux?
Linux.
Well, here at Mercy?
Yeah.
What operate Linux on where?
On my computer, home computer.
I mean, so on your own. Okay. Good, if you did that. All right, next one is PHP. Why do you need the PHP? Because you have experience of MySQL, then of course you have to do PHP. Why? Anybody knows why we need to install PHP on the web server? PHP is a good.
The front end, right? It's just the front end.
That's a middleware usually.
Yeah.
The PHP runs in between web server and the back-end database servers. So PHP sits between web server and database servers. What it does is that when user requests, then it goes to PHP program. So we have to build numerous the programs in PHP so that PHP can access MySQL not manually but by program. So PHP include SQL statements. So you don't really, because MySQL sits back end, so user does not see MySQL. Okay, unless you log in that operating systems directly, you don't see that because web server is the only interface for user to enter. Then there's no way that you can access MySQL. Therefore, PHP program sits. There is a real codings. Okay, in that PHP codings, then you have to include lots of different ways of MySQL statements. So on behalf of you, your PHP runs to access database and get the result from the database and then return back to you. All right, that is a PHP. That's a middleware. So powerful. I'm using that a lot for other classes. All right, then we install 1, 2, 3. Web server, MySQL, and PHP. Those are all on Linux. So LAMP means L for Linux, A for Apache, M for MySQL, P for PHP. That's so-called the LAMP. Okay, when you have Linux operating systems, if you want to set up web server, powerful web server, real professional web server, then you can install LAMP. Okay, that's what we will do here. Locally, our Raspberry Pi, new version of our Raspberry Pi, is strong enough to run the services of LAMP. So that's what we'll do. Okay, so let's do first, as you can see over there. I want to bring that here. Okay, so sudo. By the way, I already tested and installed. I didn't remove that installation. So the message that you can see at my screen is not the same as yours. Mine may be already installed, but yours will be the first installation, real installation. So in my case, Apache 2 is already the newest version, so I'm good. So I want you to get yours. Because we have a -y, keep installing all the dependencies. Once you have that, then you need to test, right? So how can you test? You can test, for example, from from my laptop, right? So I can do http://192.168. Was it 7.8? I don't remember. It's not. What was it? Oh, 7.8. But this guy, what is my? Okay. 7.8. If it's not, then I can use that from my Raspberry Pi web browser. My Raspberry Pi web browser, I can do simply localhost. Then I have here Apache, right? Apache is running, up and running. Although I didn't. So then where is that this page? That page sits on the following directory. So you can do cd/var/www/html ls. Then there is index.html. By the way, raise your hand if you do not know HTML language. Everybody knows HTML, right? Raise your hand if you know HTML language.
I just started reading it.
No one? Raise your hand if you know the HTML. Raise your hand if you do not know HTML.
Oh,
If you do not know,
well, I know it exists.
wow.
I just started on it.
But you can learn it by yourself. Yeah, you can learn it. Right. You don't have to take any courses that can teach HTML. You can learn it by yourself, or you can learn it because we are doing a little bit of HTML right now. Run it now, okay? So what I'm going to do, let me show to you first that what is that HTML index.html. When you do here, localhost or 192. What happened? Okay. 192.168.7.8 slash index.html. Then it runs this, okay? You know, this is IP address to this machine, right? And then slash index.html, then it goes automatically all the way up to this slash var slash www slash html. I don't need to express, I should not express this location path. But by default, when I say in web browser, when I do that IP address and slash index, then it automatically comes here and look for if there is any index.html. So this index.html, cat index.html, then somewhere, see here, please report bugs, specific modules, whatever that. If you scroll that down somewhere here, then you may be able to see here. Please report to bugs or specific whatever, right? So you may be able to see, by the way, this document is nothing but that documents, right? This is HTML documents. So this is HTML documents. It says, it started with less than sign HTML, and then some versions of HTML, and then there is a head, and there's a title. If you see this title, it says Apache 2 Debian default page, it works. This is the title. So where that appears? That appears here. This web browser title, it says Apache 2 Debian default page, it works. That's what it is. Okay? And then somewhere in the real body of that HTML, there's all control statements of your, see here, what is the color, what is the font size. In this case, if we say section header, then size should be increased 112%, and the color in RGB FF. What is FF? Huh?
White.
Yeah, that is white. So it means FF means there's a RGB code, right? RGB means red, green, and blue. Red and green and blue, those are three colors that can produce all the colors of light color. When you were in elementary schools, you have some paintings, right? Color paintings. What is the primitive colors for color paintings? In that case, that is red, blue, maybe yellow, right? Red, blue, yellow. That is a painting. For the painting colors, those three colors are primitives. So combinations of those three will make all kinds of painting colors. That is painting colors. On the other hand, light color, we see the lights, right? Anything that you can see from your eyes, that's the reason that you can see it is because there is a light. If there is no light, then you cannot see any. So all the light colors are composed based upon those three colors, RGB, okay, red, green, and blue. So RGB, in order to represent each color, it needs 1 byte long. 1 byte means 8 bits, right? If you represent the 8 bits in hexacode, then it'll be FF, 2 characters, right? I think you all already know that, the basic, right? So FF means that 1 bytes, you fully set, then that is 1 byte long, then 1111, 1111, 1 byte long. You set all the bits to 1, then you will have a 1111, 1111. That can be converted to hexacode, then that is FF. There's a full color. So if we say RGB, all FF means the byte for red color are all set to 1. Therefore, in hexacode, that is FF. And then we can say the red color for that once, full red. G, the second two Fs, there's also FF. Green color, there's also full green. The final two FF. Blue color, there's also fully blue color. If you composite full red color, full red light color, light, that visible light, full light green color, and full light blue color, if you combine all of those, then that is real white color. That is, as Evans says, FF means white color. If you tweak that a little bit from F to E, or F to A, F to 9, 7, whatever the number from 0 to F, then you will see the different color of red, different color of green, different color of blue. If you combine all of those, then you will see the different light, right? Okay, anyway, that you can see here. And if you see the real body, see here body, the first text that you can see the body, these are all the control things. And then there is the image, source, slash icons, slash open logo, dash 75.png, whatever that logo, and then another one. And then first language that you can see here, there is Apache 2 Debian default page, and the next line, then you can see in the next line, let's see what is the next line. Next line is it works here, and then another line. This is the default welcome page used to test the correct operation of Apache 2 server. Let's see if it is appearing here. Okay, there is Apache 2 Debian, and then oh yeah, it works. But anyway, this is the images. This is the image files. This is a text, and then next text here, it works, and then this is a default welcome page used to test, so and so forth. Okay, so that is it. Okay, what I'm trying to do here, I want to rename this, which means I want to move index.html, and then I would say index.html.origin. So this is original files. I want to keep that origin. Okay, this is sudo. I do not have any right, so I can see that. So I have first file is index. You do not have info.php yet because we didn't install that. You have only one file, right? Index.html. Now that is called index.html.org. Now we want to create. So nano.index.html. Nano, no, not dot. Nano space index.html. Hit enter, and then I would say body, I would say welcome to, and then I can do close the body. Actually, it is from this body to this is, we call that tag. So I put the tag less than sign, BODY, greater than sign. This is the reserved word. So if you open tag, then there is a closed tag. Pair of those. The closed tag is the same as the open tags. Only difference is right after that less than sign, there should be slash. So body, and this is a slash body. This is open body, and this is a closed body. Inside, that appears on your if we want to see, hey, I want to make this real big ones, then there's a head size, I would say H1, and to the end, I want to see slash H1, head size number 1, and then I can do okay, let's make about up to this, and then I can save it, write out, right? Control O, and it asks me to check the file. So I want to accept index.html. Oh, permission. I forgot to do. So Control X. I want to do what I want to do. I do not want to lose this. So another way is I want to do val www./html, and then I want to do sudo nano index.html, and I want to copy and paste this, copy and paste here so that I have that, and Control O for write out. Now I saved it. The previous terminal, I would say modify the buffer save, because I do not have a right to save, so I can say no. Still I have that file because I saved it in other HTML, no, other terminals. This is another trick, right? So 2 terminals comes here. But anyway, I have HTML files. So back here, if I want to refresh, then I have this. Welcome to John Yoon's home. The following is about me, right? So we can do more and more if you like. So far we installed this Apache. So this is done. And the next one is MySQL. So we need to do sudo apt install MariaDB -server -y. I want you to do this. We'll skip this. For security, we don't need to, for the security, because this is only on Raspberry Pi. Okay, so we will do this only here. So okay, sudo apt install MariaDB -server and -y. So in my case, already set up. And one more. So this is done, right? Number 2 is done. And number 3, install PHP. For this, a little longer way that you need to do. So sudo apt install PHP library Apache 2 mod dash PHP, and then there is another PHP MySQL, PHP dash MySQL, space PHP dash MySQL, and then -y. Okay, I think so far so good. After this, I wanted to check if there is info.php. Okay, this file, info.php. Then you can come here, open new tab, keep the previous tab, but make another tab, and then you can see 192.168.7.8 UIP / info.php. Then you should have this PHP descriptions. Raise your hand if you need help so far for this web service. Evans, are you okay?
Try. Yeah, it's saying 404 not found.
Which one?
It's the PHP. It's not being found.
Is that right? How come PHP is not found? Network is okay, and
Yeah.
you can do that. Yeah, sometimes this APT does not find the location of a PHP, but you can retry. It's not. PHP is very, very common, or you can do sudo apt update and upgrade once more, and then try install PHP. Or you can your rules website. Website is you set up. Websites.
SQL.
Where are you?
Here.
From your website. Can you see it? From your web browser. do not know for sure your IP, then basically do localhost slash index.html. Do you have a PHP?
Yeah, it doesn't really. It's not appearing, but the index HTML is working fine. So because when I saw the package like this.
But it's not creating, right?
Yeah, it's not creating the.
It's not properly installed. Okay. I think it should work, but somehow.
PHP is already the newest version. PHP 7 uninstalled. New Apache is already the newest version.
So right now, where are you? Yeah, okay. No, back. So do you have here? Can you type Alex? See. Oh, you don't get PHP like this?
No, it says that it's installed right here. It's already the newest version.
Similar to like this. What about yours? Do you have PHP? Info.php? Where are you? Yeah. Go to cd type cd space slash slash b slash www slash html. Oh, this is what? PHP. So in your case, you do from your browser. You type localhost slash info.php. But not fully included. But anyway, yours is almost fine. What about yours? Oh, okay, so
It's having a lot of errors actually.
yeah, you have to. You can do it, redo and redo until you get the all dependencies. Yeah. Sometimes, I think Evans and Dimitri's, some dependencies are not fully loaded, therefore you do not have info.php files. But there is no harm although you do multiple times until you get the full sets of dependencies. Keep trying. Is it No. Yeah, open up web browser then. There are so many web browsers. Try HTML, the local host. Okay. Local host. No, one more. There's Apache. Open up another tab. Localhost slash info.php. Where are you? Oh, yeah, go to yes, CD, type CD, space, slash VAR, slash www slash type ls. Oh, you don't have info PHP file here. It is not installed. Your Apache is installed, but not PHP. So you need to redo that. Did you have MySQL already? Sometimes if your MySQL is not installed, but when you install PHP, you want to that command try to link MySQL. There may be some configuration. Therefore, if you want to see, let's say, here if you install MySQL properly, that is in, I think, USR, cd slash USR slash local slash bin ls, or not there, backup. cd bin ls. Yeah, MySQL, as you can see here, MySQL is installed, right? These are all about MySQL. So make sure that your MySQL is installed. And another thing is here, if you want to run MySQL, then /MySQL okay, then access denied for user MySQL. You need to set that up, but we didn't do that yet, right? Because we don't do MySQL here in this class. Only. But make sure that your MySQL is installed, as I did here. until you have this info.php. Once you have info.php, then your LAMP services is ready. Okay. So those who do not have that index.html and then info.php files, then I want you to redo whatever. If your index.html file is running, then this part is okay. Okay, and then if you see MySQL is available on your /usr/bin directories, then this is also fine. And if you have info.php file on the directory /var/www/html, then everything should work. So some of you guys do not have that info.php, so I want you to redo this until you have that HTML. I mean, info.php file is available. Then you can check this http://localhost/info.php. And then right now I am in this directory var www.html. I want to go back one step up to my parents. So cd space ... then I can go back up so that I am now in /var/www. I want to check this. What is my HTML? The security, the access control. Right now I have, this guy tells me HTML is the directory, and then the owner is root. Root can do RWX, read, write, execute. And then group can do read and execute, but not write. And others can read, execute, but not write, right? I want to close this. Okay. So again, go back to HTML, ls-l, ls-l. Then I have 3 files. Root can do read, write, but not executable. And all others can read. Even if this is not anyone, not Pi itself, still that is allowed. That's allowed to access, right? That's what it is. So make sure that it should be readable by anyone, like this. That's what I want to say here. Change owner Pi for everyone, and then change mode recursively 755. 755 means myself, I can do everything. 7, which is read, write, execute. 5 means read and execute. Read and execute, right? All, in this case, all 1 1. What that means is that that's a 711. Maybe that may be the reason. So if I do change mode sudo change mode 755 for index.html, then that mode is changed from all dash dash to all dash x. Read and execute. Should we read and execute? I'm not sure, but let's try. If it's read and execute, still it is not readable from outside of that. Okay. If you want to restart, then you can do sudo systemctl system control restart Apache 2. So let's try to do that. Here sudo systemctl restart Apache 2. Then it restarts that Apache. But anyway, it should work, right? In any case. Alexandra, is yours working? Oh, still upgrading. Okay, I want you to continue to work on that. Probably next homework assignments is do this. I wanted to make sure that you have web server runs and ready, so that you can provide me your HTML files like this, just screenshots. This is screenshots, and another screenshot is this PHP files. We don't really run anything about PHP, right? So I'm not going to. Only this page. If this page appears on your web browser, that's fine. And for your HTML, here's what I want you to do. Probably I stated here. Yeah, I said here, rewrite your HTML files, your name. That's what we did, right? Already here. So your name appears there. And then a table describing something about yourself. So if I do it with you together here. So nano sudo nano index.html. It asks me to provide a table about myself, right? So you can make table, and make sure that you have a closed table. and then make a row. So table row, TR, and then TD in the table data. So I can say name and close that first table data and second table data. I'm still on the same row, and then I can say John Yoon and close that table data and close that table row. I want you to see this. This is a table row, beginning of the table row and ending with the table row. So everything inside that appears on the same row. But how many columns? Table data is one column. So table data, open table data and close table data. I want you to see this table data. Similarly, I will do table data and then major, and then cybersecurity. What else that I can introduce myself? Let's say status. You can say, in your case, a student, or maybe sophomore, junior, senior, freshman, whatever. I would say myself, professor. TD and TR. Hobbies. Whatever hobby that you can list here. I want you to put coding, one of your hobbies. This is so crazy. Coding. Second hobby, coding again. Music. Hiking. Something like this. And then I would do write out, Control O. And can come back here. I want to refresh my web page. This is not, oh, I didn't do write out. And then refresh. Wow, I have that. If we want to see, if we want to draw the border, then on this table, border equal 1. Then there is a border. And then you can also try to see some of the help, saying HTML, table, TD, background color, how we can set that, okay? See if it is possible. Then there is a TD has an attribute BG color. So I'm going to use that. Come back here. Then I will do what table row? Instead of a table data, what if I do table row? TR. That also works. Background color, right? BG color. So I will do here TL BG color equals, and then I will do RGB code # background. I want to put there maybe FF 8811. Okay. So red color full red, green about 88, and then blue 11. So this color looks like something like orange. See what it is. So come back here, refresh. Yes, I have orange, right? Background. So HTML, you don't need to take any course, but as you need, you can simply find out some tag language. This is not a programming language. This is a simply, we call that markup language. Markup. You simply mark up, right? What I'm doing here is major. For major, I want to mark up. Oh, that is a table data, which is inside table row. That's what it is, right? For example, welcome to John Yoon's home. How can I mark it up? I mark that is in the header level 1, H1. Again, if, for example, the following is about me, if we want to make it a little bigger lines there, then I can say H2, the second level of the header. So a little bigger, but not as big as H1. And then I can do H2. And then write out, hit enter. And if I refresh my web browser, you may be able to see this is a little bigger, right? And then again, H2 is too big. So I want to say H3. Open H3 and close H3. And if you want to change that, for example, font equals, see, color, I'm not sure it works, but let's try. I want to do the other way, maybe 1177 FF, little more blue color. Then I can say full blue, which is the last two character FF. The red is a little bit red, very little red, maybe medium green, and then full blue FF. I'm not sure if that works. If it doesn't work, then we'll find out. Okay, the proper language. It's not working, then I need to go here and the Google. What I want to do is HTML, and then I would say H3 font to color. How about this? So I want to see font to color not changing. Maybe font to color may not be working. This guy also complained. Font to color is not working. Typo errors. Oh, this is for color that should be used by CSS language, which is not little deeper level of the web page language, which is HTML. So HTML is macro levels. There's a little detailed. The markup language is called the CSS. CSS stands for Cascade. CSS versus HTML. It's called the CS Cascade script, whatever that language is. CSS stands for. Maybe that is a script, Cascade script. So it should use Cascade script. So I'm going to use that here. So little deeper levels. So what I would need to do here is style equals, and then we need to do color colon, and then work out. Come back here, refresh, see here, then I have a little different colors, right? The following is about me, and then the color is, because the HTML language itself does not, HTML has a background color changes, but it does not have foreground color, simply color. But instead we need to bring up style first. So style equal, within that quote I can say color colon and then color configurations. Then you will have that. Okay? So like this I want you to do for your homework assignments for the next week. Let me keep going then. This is that once. Okay. Any question so far? I'm sure you can do this at home. Takes time, and then get some skills, and then finish up your homework assignments. Okay, next one is here. This is another. Storage controls. So check the disk space here, TH minus A, TF. Check the disk space. And then list block storage devices, which is LS, list block. And then check the size of a directory and files. Then we need to do DU minus SH, and then this is parameter is the directory, so that it shows how many the sizes, the memory sizes that I mean storage size, file size. No, I would say file size. Yeah. And then check partitions of layout. Then you can do fdisk minus L. And also mount point. If we have any mount point on that device, then you need to do this mount and pipe grab. There are multiple other mounts, right? So I am going to bring up here and practice that once. Well, I want to push this back, and I want to use new ones here. Oh, this is not new ones. Okay, use these ones. Okay. So df minus h. Then I can see some here slash db. This is something about device. mmc block 0p2. So what does this means? You guys has a SD card, right? So this item is it's about the space usages of your SD card. So what percentage of your SD card is currently used? 7%. I'm sure your SD card, the size of SD card is a pretty big size, some gigabytes, right? So we have only the small data so far created. Therefore, oh yeah, total size is 117 gigabytes. I believe that is mine is 128 gigabytes, right? Some of the spaces are used by something else. So only the size of the space that I can use for my data, that is 117 gigabytes. Out of 117 gigabytes, I used 7%. That's what I have right now, right? I know anybody has thumbsticks with you? This is not really popular these days, right? Anybody bring up your memory sticks? If you have a memory sticks, then you can plug that memory sticks on your USB driver. Then it says here, removable medium is inserted. This is very, very smart. This guy knows that, right? We're not going to use this. You can use this to check all the files. Okay, this device has this is media. All others here. This is something about your. This is not a thumb drive. This is your file systems, bin, etc, home, and then, for example, there is a VAR that we looked at, our HTML, right? In VAR, then we know that, for example, www, and then it has HTML, and it has index.html. Remember that we used for this, right? HTML, and then there is a index.html dot origin that we copied for our backup, and then info.php. Some of you has this, right? So that is something about my file system. One of those, under me, I have 16 gigabytes of volumes. This is my memory sticks file system. I have some of the files there, right? That's what it is. This is the handy folder graphical Windows showed to me, right? But the same one can be handled by this command line. Okay, that's what we do. So for example, if I do df -h, see if that appears here. Something different from previous. This is without the memory sticks. This is with the memory sticks. Then what is the difference? Difference is here, right? -dev -sda1. This is something about my memory sticks. Size of my memory sticks is 15 gigabytes, and I used 96%, almost all that I used. That is mounted. That is the device name is called the DEV-SDA1. SD. That is looks like there's a storage device, SD, like our SD card. But our SD card that we used for our Raspberry Pi operating system is not called here SD1s. It is called, unfortunately, differently from our understanding, it is called the MMC, BLK for block, 0P2. This is a so-called our operating system's SD card. This one, /DV/SDA1, this SD card is not the SD card that we understand, but this is the memory sticks. But it is called, unfortunately, SDA1 here. Okay? So this guy understands our external memory sticks. So as you see here, then we have operating system SD card, and also at the same time another external the memory sticks. So can you guys see my Raspberry Pi here? I have. Okay. They're all accessed. This is accessed by default operating systems. The other one, extra. Okay. Some of this, check the size of directories or files. Then we can do du -sh, and then you can do dev-sda1. Then this guy tells me about my memory sticks, size of memory sticks. But actually, it doesn't work well. But if we do within my operating systems, home/pi, so that I can see, oh, how much memory, how much space that I used. my name is Pi here in this case, then it tells me 331 megabytes, right? That is this TU. So TF, there's a disk space. TU, size of it, any specific ones. And then partition information, there's F disk. F disk needs some permissions, the privileges, access control. So that we need to start with the sudo F disk. If you want to see full list, then sudo F disk -L. Then you can see longer list, right? It starts from so many sectors. Here, disk DB, RAM 0, RAM 1, RAM 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then here, DEV MMC block 0, that is our real SD card, right? So it says the unit sector size is 512 byte sector size, and IO size 512 bytes. So at one time, when your Raspberry Pi interface, when your SD card interfaces with other devices, then the unit size for one-time input and output, that is 512 bytes. Disk labels is called the DOS, disk operating systems, and disk identifier, there's OX in hexacode. Identifier is BF22157C. And then look at this. That device even further partitioned into two. One partition that is for the start partition. That is for, I believe it is pure operating systems stays there. And then whatever your work that comes here, that occupies in 118.9 gigabytes. Anything about your files, your operating systems here. So this is for everything about here. This is highlighted. That is the partition information about your SD card, real SD card. And then one below, this is about your memory card, memory sticks. No, not that one. I believe there is only this. Okay, SDA1. There's a F disk information. Some mount informations. If you type mount, type for mount information. And manual mount, if you want to do manual mount. So, you know the mount and unmount? When you have an external device, if you want to make it as if it is one of your file system, then you have to mount it. We have an SD card. SD card is nothing but this, right? I want to mount that into MNT, mount to whatever the name, okay? So if we come here up, Then we have something that I can see here in the media folder, mini media device. So what I can do here, I want to mount, say mount, M-O-U-N-T, that I need to do sudo mount, and then dash dev dash sda1. Then it's a real device, right? Mount. I want that device to the mount point, which is I can point that to any of this, but I would say media and then USB. Then when I come here, media, CD media, LS, so that I have a USB card here, right? There's a USB. That is mounted so that I can see that. If I want to unmount, then I can do /media/USB. Then it'll be unmounted. Okay. So in the USB controls, I did already this, right? I know this. So come here, I would say CD USB. Now I can read all the files, not through this Windows, graphical Windows, but on your command line, I can see all the files. These are the files available on my memory sticks. Okay. So I can do mount and unmount. Disk dump. What else can I do? Okay, disk dump is a really important tool for your forensic investigations. Forensic investigation. Anyone's already taken forensic investigation course? 430? Not yet. Anyone knows about the forensic investigations? You've heard of forensic investigations, right? If any device, any infrastructure, media attacked, then there's always some footprints left, so that you want to investigate to find out any evidence of the attacks. First thing that you have to do when you need to do forensic investigation, then you need to make the image of that device. Tool or command to get the image is called DD. DD is called disk dump. Your file system needs to be dumped to the safe device. Exact same one needs to be dumped. It is not copy. It is different from copy. Copy is a logically same amount of data is moved to another. This one is each bit by bit data needs to be copied. Okay, that's called the dump. The device, the command for dump is DD. So DD is available by default. What you need to describe when you have a DD, then you have to see input file and output files. And then block size needs to be said. So DDIF /DB /SDA, which means this is your thumb drive, right? If you want to disk dump of your thumb drive, and then output is out.img that you can make this way. So here I wrote a few commands as you wish. So sudo dd input, this is this is everything. Input is, if you say input /deb /mmc block 0, then this means your small SD card that you want to make a dump. Output is / Raspberry Pi /backup.img image files. So what I want to do, yeah, let's make this. This doesn't harm, right? In our case. So what I want to do, I want to come back to my home directory by type cd, see what I have. I have only that. So I can do sudo dd for disk dump. if, my input is /deb /mmc block 0, which means my SD card itself. Output OF equals tilde means my home, right? So I may or may not, because I am already at home. If you are not, if you issuing this command in anywhere on your file system, then you need to, and also if you want to save this at your home, then you need to do tilde here. But I don't need to do, right? I can simply myself dot / I can say Raspberry Pi backup .img backup, so many ppp, and then base block size is 4 megabytes, and then status, I want to see the progress and see what happens. Okay, I'm worrying about if it takes longer or if there is any errors. Let's see how it works. So now it copies, right? Bit by bit. So dd is one of the best command to make a copy of your device. And that copy, the files of that copy has an extension, in my case, img. So that is the image file. Okay. So in this command examples, there's lots of img files that I used. Okay, next slide. So what is image files? So-called ISO images. ISO image is a single file that contains a complete copy of the data from an optical disc like CD, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever in our memory card. It includes file system structure, boot sector, and all files, making it useful for installations and backups and creation of a virtual disk. So if I have these image files, like here, Raspberry Pi underscore backup dot img, this is an ISO files, so that that is identical to your current SD card. Okay, that's very useful. Okay, so we're almost done for today's work. And see, this takes a little while because DD depends on the size of your file systems. So meanwhile, I want to bring up another terminal and practice even further. My system performance is slow because right now I working on DD. So if I want to see LS block, LS BLK, then it shows I have a memory sticks. This is memory sticks. I have SD card, which is a small size of SD card that I have. Apparently, I have 2 of those, right? How can we see that? What is the language that you can see the black information or mount point? Then the command is lsblk. So as I said here, the upper ones is for USB device, and the bottom one, that's SD card where Raspberry Pi OS is stored. This is what we have. We can also check the integrity of that images. When you make a DD and when you make a dump of your file systems, everyone needs to see if that file system has a real completely identical to your source, right? That is the integrity check. That may be needed, right? In that case, you need to do sudo cmp for comparisons of those two. This is very, very important for your forensic investigations. Okay, if you are working on your forensic investigations with the unidentical media, the media is not exactly the same as the target of your investigation, then your work may not be sound enough, right? So you have to see always the media that you are working on for your investigation is identical to the real originals. Although you are not working on the originals, if you're working on the originals, then you may give some damage to that originals. So you may not preserve the crime scene. Crime scene may be modified if you are working on the crime scene itself. Therefore, you need to make an image files, and then you can do some investigation there. Then that file something modified. For that reason, you have to always preserve the origin. Okay? So crime scene preservation is required. So we call that custody of evidence. Your evidence needs to be kept, original ones. Therefore, we need to make images always. So tool or command to make an image is DD. DD for disk dump. That we practice right now, right? So let's see how much that we did with DD. Still working on, because it takes time, right? I have only 36 megabytes disk dump. So it'll take forever. So rather than waiting, I think I need to stop here. That's what I prepared for today's lecture. Any question? No questions? Okay. If you want to see the completion of this DD, disk dump, you can stay. Otherwise, you may be free to leave. Okay, then I will see you next week.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Let's see. Oh, this is some dependencies is not accessible. That's very common. If you have, particularly when you work here on campus, there's a router provides you full yes, if you do this at home, I think you can make it quick. Right. Only that is our school router for the read download too much dependent files. So all the dependent files should be ready immediately when it is installed. If it is not, then it doesn't wait, but it finish up and gives you yeah, you can do that at home. And I'm sure you do it.
Sir, Professor, quick question about like a final exam. What's the format going to be?
Oh, finally, we'll talk about that next week.
Okay, all right.
Remind me
Of course.
before we start.
Of course.
So it's just the final exam, there's no like project or anything like that?
No, only the exam. Homework and exam. I think DD takes several hours. There's a forensic investigation. should be identical systems needs to be copied. The real identical. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to tell you that I had that issue with the test. I had a bunch of history. Really had an issue.
Pero me parece que en mis casos yo digo la home because
This one's really long. Yeah, because I was trying to run that. No, that exact problem happened. I forgot what it was.
it was like
Oh.
certain things was not downloaded. They said it was like some sort of failure access design.
I actually didn't check your date. And I remember. Angel was the exact issue I was telling you about earlier. Check your date, update your date. Because it could be that the date, sometimes it doesn't occur because of the date. I had to update my date and they didn't want to update, so I was like, okay, I have to.
Oh, how do you do that? Just say pseudo or something?
Something date, time, date, CTL, and then like true. If that doesn't work, you have to manually put it. It's just, but like, that's what I did and it worked.
Well, I'm gonna just try it at home. I'm just like, ugh.
If you wanna bullshit like I just did, I connected my Raspberry Pi to my Windows. So I connected my account, my SQL, because I already have an SQL account. So I can just do my SQL on my laptop and then just transfer it over to my Raspberry Pi and just be like, Professor, I did it on my Raspberry Pi. That's just me though, as long as it works, you know? My SQL sucks. It sucks. It's outdated as
Did
hell.
you manage to do some of the homeworks?
Huh?
Did you manage to do some of the homeworks?
I was literally in the middle of doing it.
Which week? Because I was starting.
I'm on doing like homework 5, which I'm trying. Stop breaking the shit up. Huh? 3? It's alright. Is it alright to make it direct? Huh? Is it alright to make it
Yeah.
direct? It's alright. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, you can message me later.
Oh, yeah,
I'll probably help
yeah,
you.
I actually messaged you on Discord earlier about the same issue.
No, I just found out. I was just like, oh shit. And I thought it was just funny.
No,
Like, at first, I thought it was him because I was in the middle of doing stuff.
Yeah.
But if I'm home and I happen to be online, I'll probably hit me up. I'll probably message
Okay,
you.
alright, that's good. Fingers crossed this works when I get home. I said fingers crossed that this works when I get home.
It probably will.
I think I have almost done 31 gigabytes source and 29 gigabytes copied.
So the final's gonna be a project or is it just an exam?
Exam.
I feel like it'll probably be like programming or something.
Huh?
Maybe like what we were doing in class, like I guess maybe.
Yeah, multiple choice, or sometimes I ask you to answer with the command.
And then do like send like a screenshot of that's a Blackboard or the file that you was telling them.
Yeah, exactly the way that we did it. Yeah, in class. Yeah.
Tell me what
Open
this
notes?
file is and that's it.
Like if we bring out like a notebooks like of the notes that we take throughout the semester.
I think we do the open book test.
And
Yeah.
then what does this command do?
Yeah.
That would be much easier to like just have the notes to guide me.
Right. Yeah.
What does this command do? That's it.
Totally.
Or send a screenshot of your screen.
But no computers. I don't want you to verify on your Raspberry Pi. You have to verify before you come to the exam. Yeah.
See.
Yeah. See you later. I think it'll take forever, so I want to
Yeah, I've worked with
stop
SQL.
sharing.
I have. Worked with SQL and stuff.
Okay, I'm going to recap the one that we tried to generate the image files of the SD card in Raspberry Pi. We stopped it because it took so long. And also, the image file itself, its size will become very big. To make it more reasonable, the exercise, I'm thinking of it in this way. Anyway, I want you to get your memory stick, so that your memory stick, which is called SDA or SDB, depends on the label by your Raspberry Pi. So this is something that you mount. If you can mount on media slash USB or media slash Pi, whichever convenient that you can do. So this is a memory stick, the partition information, block information. And then your real SD card, remember that SD card you originally installed the Raspberry Pi OS, that is about this, which is labeled by MMC block 0. So MMC block 0 followed by P1 followed by P2, so partition 1 and partition 2. Partition 1, the size is 512 megabytes. That is for the firmware. So your Raspberry Pi firmware is stored in this part 1, partition 1. On the other hand, on the partition 2, P2, the rest of the file sit there. Size of that is 118 gigabytes. If you compare these two, this is really, really, really big, bigger than 512 megabytes. So to make it simple, I want to make it an image file of this firmware rather than this entire the SD card blocks, which is 128 gigabytes. It takes several, at least a couple of hours. If we do this firmware, it'll be quick. So here's what I ask you to do. You have to first plug your the memory sticks, okay, and then you have to mount it. So let's say if you mount, then the steps is as follows. Plug your memory stick to the USB port, and then you need to do mount. I want to show it to you here, remind you somewhere here. I think here, mount. So you need to do something like this, sudo mount. So this is media. This means this is your memory sticks, and then you have to make a mount point. You need to define the mount point on your file system, which is actually on this. This is your the real SD card, although it is called SDA1 or SDB1, whatever. This is a memory sticks, and this is the location of your operating systems. So So once you do that, and then you have to mount it. Oh yeah, you have, yeah, in this way there's a mounted, and then I want you to check the blocks BLK, LS BLK. Then you may be able to see, hey, this is SDB1. That is, the mount point is slash media slash USB, which is in this location, right? And then my firmware is in this MMC block 0P1. So if you see the disk dump, the command, I believe I did that somewhere here. Let me see. I want to see here. If I don't have that. So history, I believe this is it. This is what I did, right? So I'm going to copy this and paste here. Either you can copy of this, because this history has the label number labeled. So I can do exclamation mark and 201. Then this command, sudo dd input file is /d device. In the device directory, there is a MMC block 0, which is real SD card. And then there is a partition 1, which means where there is a firmware. And then output is a media USB. This is a mount point where I want to save it in this way, in this file name. So there is a firmware underscore backup.img. Because the source block is a small, so it'll end quickly, hopefully sooner, that we can see the result of that image file generations. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so the record out, so 520 megabytes copied, so successfully done. So if I do here, there is a firmware that is now generated, 500 some megabytes long files. That is the image file. The real source file is in this here, right? Boot and firmware. So I want to see if it is, I want to check the integrity, whether the image file is completely copied from the source with no loss, no damages. So to make it, I need to use a compare command, which is here, okay? Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, this is the same as that one. So 202. So what I want to do here exclamation mark and 202. Then this is a command. Say quick return. It returns nothing. Implication of the result is this. So I marked here. So what it means here, oops, what I want to say. So what it means, if the files are identical, CMP produced no output and returns 0 exit status. It returns nothing. If it returns nothing like this, it means this firmware is completely well dumped to these files. That's what it is. Okay, so this is your image files, and you can carry that image files if you want to do for something else, or you can restore that image files back to your the systems. But in this case, firmware is still there, so we don't need to do. But just in case, if your the original the media has damaged firmware, and also if you have image files of that firmware and stored securely well, then you can store it back to your the device. That's what we can do here. Restore the block if needed. Then this is the source, and it's a reverse from output, between output and inputs. All right? That's what you need to do. And I ask you to do this on your homework assignments. Actually, the homework assignments too. I want you to build your web server and show your HTML files, index.html files from your web browser, number one. And the other one, from your web browser, I want you to show info.php. I don't want you to touch the file content, but that is automatically generated if you install PHP successfully. Okay, that is one. And the other one here, I want you to practice dd command so that you may be able to get the image files of whatever that you want to generate. That image files is very, very significant the media for you to make a formal, technical, and legal forensic investigation. Okay, good luck.